I think it is unfair to look at it like that. That's just from my point of view. So we kind of have opposing views in a way.
Yeah, grow.
Chinese egg roll.
And it's in takeaway dishes.
It's in bloody takeaway dishes, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I could probably go as far to say it's my favourite cigar ever.
It went to number 1.
I think it has, yeah.
What do you want then, darling?
Usual.
Yeah, usual? Yeah. Usual, please, Governor. Cheers.
Cheers.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a new segment for Cigars of London. These videos will basically consist of some news, a cigar review, some blind tasting, just more of a relaxed, not so much of a cigar review, but just where we touch on numerous topics and just have a bit of fun. In front of us, we've got a couple of whiskies, just so you know what's coming up. The whiskies that we're going to be trying throughout this video whilst having a H.Upmann Half Corona. These are the ones, if you're familiar with the channel, you would have seen us do a review on these cigars. These are the ones that were from Dubai, bought back by Rico. Let's go for a cut. Dry draw makes me laugh. These cutters always have the cap from the previous cigar in. So I was quite surprised, actually. We went for a dog walk and we went to the Co-op. It was just like a convenience store, and that's where I actually picked up these two whiskies from, which I was really surprised with because from what I understand, they're quite good. So we're looking forward to trying one of those. We've actually already tried this one and we're just sampling the other one now. Very different whiskies, but we'll get into that a bit later on in the video. Excited to just chill out and enjoy a cigar. I didn't tell you that I was going to talk about this. Well, I'm not going to talk about it, but you know the news that came in today? The exciting news.
Yes.
So I don't want to mention that on the video, but this is kind of like a celebratory cigar and drink. I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
But it's amazing news and we're very excited.
Yeah, amazing news. Really excited for the future.
You know, the only thing I don't like about this setup is... You've really got to...
You got to cinch it in.
You've really got to kind of...
Wear a high-waisted thing and then you...
Look, I already get enough piss taken out of me for wearing a roll neck. The only thing I need to add now is some high-waisted skinny jeans and a waist trainer. So as you can see, we've made a real huge effort here with a lamp and a nice green plant. I totally forgot to take a dry draw, but I'm sure they're absolutely fine. Let's go for a first draw on these H.Upmann Half Coronas. Mine's super tight, which is great. Should have learnt by now. It's all okay though, because we have the trusty Cigars of London cigar poker, which never fails. We actually got a comment on this accessory from Christos, who's a good friend of ours, and he said this is the best cigar tool on the market, which is quite a compliment coming from a cigar lover like himself.
That opened it up a little. Nice.
Yeah, it's opened mine up a little bit, but you can see just how packed up that is.
Yeah,
I might even need to go for a second poke, but I'll see if it opens up on its own. One thing that I do want to start doing with our cigars now, as you guys are aware, we purchase our cigars online and we get them to the door and they go straight in the humidor, and then we try to review them all like within a couple of weeks. What I'm going to start doing is not putting them in the humidor because I am starting to understand the whole resting phase of a cigar. Now, you know all of the burn issues that we have, whether it's they go out or they're plugged and really tight. I think that is because they're over humidified and they haven't been allowed time to rest. So moving forward, we'll see how we get on with that. But I think that might solve a lot of our problems. Okay. We'll see. Do you want to have a little sip?
Yeah, definitely. I have sort of had a small sample.
Yeah, as I mentioned at the start, we have tried this one, Glenfidich or Glenfidich.
I just call it Glenfidich.
Very nice, but
yeah, it was good actually.
This one that we've got in the glass right now, I think I'm actually preferring.
Oh, really?
There's something about it it resembles a wine where it's quite crisp, quite fresh, and there's some like citrus apple in there that I'm getting.
I make you right. Yeah, there is a wine texture taste, almost like a grapey, white grape.
Yeah, but let's just
Almost.
clear something up right now.
We're no connoisseurs of whiskey.
I wasn't going to say that.
Oh,
I know
right.
everything about whiskey.
Oh, okay.
What I was going to say, what I was going to let everyone watching know is that you're not much of a fan of whiskey.
No.
Now I just went up, sipped it, swallowed it. I was like, yeah, crisp apple. And then I remembered that you're not much of a fan and find these things quite strong. And it takes quite a while for it to kind of go down.
Yeah, I wouldn't choose whiskey over rum. However, that being said, earlier when we were trying the Glenfidich, I quite liked it. It was quite smooth. In my experience of whiskies, they're quite harsh, but the Glenfidich was really nice.
So we were online the other day. Occasionally we check out the Cigar Aficionado blog post to see any latest news and anything that we need to kind of update ourselves on. And there's a few things that stood out to us, a couple of new releases.
Yeah, so there's a new Dominican La Gloria Cubana launched today, actually, on 2nd of March, which looks really interesting. It's exclusive to the US, so unfortunately we will
Which
not
is
be able to try
rubbish.
it. Yeah, it's so rubbish. Like, we want to try it.
Hopefully we can get one of our friends to send us a few.
Yeah, like, wink wink. Ping some down in the post to us. In terms of specs, it is made with a 7-year-old Honduran wrapper, a Cameroon binder, and a filler blend of Dominican, Mexican, and Nicaraguan. It's part of a limited edition series, so there's only like 600 boxes made of them.
So if you are watching this and you are American, go and buy some as soon as possible.
Yeah, let us know what they're like.
And send them to us, is what I was going to say. Don't let us know what they're
Oh.
like. Send them to us and we will tell you what they're like.
The limited edition series is called The Spirit of the Lady. I think that's a pretty cool, quirky name, to be honest.
What about Spirit of the Man?
No.
What about Spirit of Jed in Bournemouth? What? There's so many other names that we could have gone
I
for.
just don't think that would sell, babe.
Spirit of the Lady.
Spirit of the Lady, that's like really...
I feel like
fun.
we could have done better than that. Spirit of Jed. I could have just been on the cigar band in a silk robe, just have it all out and just be there like spirit of me. Tell you what, when we start rolling our own cigars, that's what you guys can expect. We'll ship worldwide and you'll just sit there, cigar in your mouth, and if you like look down at a band, you'll just see a picture of me in my dressing gown. What's
That
next?
image was just wonderful.
It is
Yeah,
wonderful.
so like within that series, there's going to be 2 cigars. They're going to be like, both of them are box presses. One's a Toro and one's a Churchill.
It's always good to see new cigars coming out because, I mean, hey, we're always up for trying different cigars. As you guys know, we don't shy away from anything. We want to try the most expensive, the cheapest, right in the middle, whether it's Cuban, non-Cuban. Speaking of which, the top 25 cigars by Cigar Aficionado of 2020, I was looking at that earlier. Number 1 was a New World. Number 2 was a New World. 3, New World. 4, New World. 5th place is the first Cuban cigar. And then not until 11th position do you get the Bolivar Belicosos. So there's only 2 Cuban cigars, in the top 11, which does surprise me.
New World are bossing it, aren't they?
Yeah, now we were talking about this earlier, wasn't we? And I was saying, I was over on this side saying, well, it's not a good look for Cuban cigars. And, you know, with all of these New World cigars coming in, what's happening with the Cuban cigars? Now, last year we did have a lot of problems with Cubans, didn't we?
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Now, I don't want to sound like I'm like contradicting or going back on what I was saying about us maybe having over-humidified cigars, so that's where our problems were coming from. But then you were saying, well, the New World cigars, there's so many new cigars coming out.
Yeah.
It's hard for Cuba to keep up.
Well, I think it is unfair to look at it like that. That's just from my point of view. So we kind of have opposing views in a way. The quantity of New World cigars versus the quantity of Cuban cigars are like very, very vastly different. It's not a fair
comparison because there's so many more
There's
New
so
World.
many more New Worlds than there are non-Cubans, right?
I suppose it's like picking a name out of a hat. If 10 of them say Jed,
Exactly.
1 of them say Hazel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jed's going to win every time.
Even if the Cubans, I mean, I know there's like always a lot of chat about which are better. Some people rave about Cubans and some people rave about non-Cubans. Even if the Cubans trumped quality and the non-Cubans were slightly less quality, let's say, like as an overall, you would still, because there was more non-Cubans, they'd still have more chance to win top spaces.
Yeah. My argument earlier was like, Cuba are known for their cigars, aren't they?
Well, they're known for the quality,
They
right?
go back years and years and years, and so many of the New World cigars are so new. As current as like 2017, 18, 19, 20, there's still brand new cigars coming up from private labels.
Yeah,
and
coming.
they're coming over the top of Cuban cigars, which is surprising. Now, is that something to do with people's palates changing? Are they looking for different things? Is that because New World cigars are more favourable in bigger countries like America versus a UK where we do have different tastes and palates, and we do prefer more sweeter, creamier, lighter bodied cigars? It's still interesting because even though obviously those people in America, now I don't want to exclude all other countries, I'm just being very generic by saying America versus the UK tasting.
Yes.
You know, we sit here and we review cigars. Now, can I tell you right now that I way prefer Cubans over non-Cubans? Absolutely not. It's a very level playing field.
Yeah.
I think I've had just as many New World cigars as I have Cuban cigars, and I like them all the same. I will say my top 3 cigars are Cuban, but I think the Davidoff that we had the other day has taken a spot in my top 3.
Who do you think it knocked off of your top 3?
I could probably go as far to say it's my favourite cigar ever.
It went to number 1.
I think it has, yeah. Yeah, with the Trinidad Lachova in second and the Trinidad Fajir in third. That Davidoff cigar was absolutely unbelievable. If that didn't get the top spot in the Cigar Aficionado top 25, then I don't know what that La Gloria tastes like, but if I can get my hands on one, I want to try it. All right, and moving on swiftly. Something else that we came across on the Cigar Aficionado news tab was interesting, to say the least. When I saw it, I showed you, I showed Rico, and when I saw it, I didn't know if it was serious or not. I'll put some pictures on the screen as we're talking about it, just so you guys can see. I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but what is it?
The cigar is called Punch Kung Pao. It is one of 3 installments from General Cigar.
And it's in takeaway dishes.
It's in bloody takeaway dishes, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I instantly think it's a little bit racist. I could be entirely wrong. I know nothing about this, and I might be speaking out of turn.
Okay, so maybe a little background, because, okay, so like, there's 3 of them. The first one was called Punch Egg Roll.
Now that is just like, just sold on a minute. There's a cigar called Punch Egg Roll. What? Yeah,
You're
go
just
on.
like, I'm just leaving the house because I'm gonna go get a punch egg roll, and you're just like,
Yeah, you could get away with smoking cigars if your wife doesn't like you smoking cigars, because she'll think, he's gonna go and get some Chinese food.
Takeout.
What's the next one?
And the second one that came out, which was the one that came out last year, was called Punch Chop Suey. And that one, so they come, these boxes are like wacky. So the Punch Chop Suey, the one last year, actually came with chopsticks. I'm just not sure how I feel about that.
How do you feel about it?
Well, okay, so firstly, the dishes that have been selected are very westernized Chinese dishes. They're not actually real Chinese cuisine. There's that part of it, right? Okay, so fine. You've selected 3 quite Americanized or westernized Chinese dishes to represent these cigars. That's fine. But I'm not quite sure what the brand is doing, because then on the cigar boxes, they have Chinese zodiacs on them. So it's, you know, that they're sort of trying to capitalize on Chinese New Year. Like, why wouldn't you just bring out a nice stick that hasn't got anything to do with like Chinese like takeaway?
Like the Romeo and Juliet Year of the Rat cigar.
Right?
That
So
thing
Year
was a
of the
piece of class.
Right, so like put that against
The egg
Year
roll.
of the Chinese egg roll.
I feel like in the design department or the creative department, they got given too much money to spend and they just kind of went, do you know what? Let's get on the phone, let's have some takeaway dishes made, and let's just put some cigars in them.
They're interesting as well. They all come with an unfinished foot. And they're really rustic looking. Like all of them are really rustic looking.
Yeah.
They're all limited edition, so they're all like, obviously, because they're launches for the Chinese New Year.
When I actually saw the picture of the unfinished foot, I didn't know it actually came like that. I thought that was just a graphic to show you the tobacco inside the leaf.
Yeah.
But there's actually how they come, which is, I don't know, it's just a little bit bizarre. And I don't know, I'd like to know what you guys think about it. And also, if you know anything about these cigars, please fill us in the comment box below.
Yeah,
We'd be
do
really
you like
interested.
them?
Yeah, do you like them? Have you got them? Have you been able to buy them? I don't know if it's a sort of thing that sells out like that because they're so unique and people just store them.
I mean, like they've capitalized. Well, they've gone on the whole like budget or like wallet friendly thing,
Oh, so they're inexpensive.
they're very inexpensive. They're like per stick, they're around about $6. So if you were to buy a takeout box of chopped suey, say, comes in bundles of like 20.
Should we just touch on the whiskey very quickly? I am really enjoying this whiskey with the cigar. On the back of the box, there's actually a flavour wheel, and it says what you will taste on the nose, on the palate, and on the finish. So as you can see here, there's a flavour wheel, or half of a flavour wheel, nose, palate, and finish down here. And on the nose, it says delicate aromas of citrus fruit, notably sweet orange. So what we'll do in a minute is intentionally see if we can spot any of these flavours. On the palate, sweet fruit, notes of zest oranges, so the oranges go through to the palate as well, and pears, with a hint of candy, toffee apples. It's well balanced and exceptionally smooth. Then on the finish, it's long, creamy and smooth.
Wow, I like the explanation.
So I might just pour myself a little bit more. I think I'm drinking too much whiskey at the moment. I need the gyms to open back up because the proper 12 whiskey that we have, I got it out the other day and it was like empty, and I was like, Hazel.
Oh no, I've not touched the stuff. Like I've had it a couple of times during videos, and I was like, I
wait.
really don't call this.
It was either Hazel or the dog. It wouldn't have been me. So. Delicate aromas of citrus fruit, notably sweet orange. Now, when I tasted this the first time, I got apple, not orange. And I don't think apple pairs apples. Oh, so apples is noted in the palate. So I can get that. Toffee, maybe. I don't really know. We do need some sort of like connoisseur to teach us how to taste whiskies properly.
It's nice, to be fair. Like as a more of a rum drinker, I actually do not mind it.
It is very tasty, guys. If you want to pick some of that up, I think it's about £40. All right, so let's take our attention back to these half Coronas. Now we're just entering the halfway mark now of these cigars. This cigar is one of those cigars that you can enjoy as a background smoke. This isn't a cigar that is really going to knock you off your feet, and it's not one that's going to provide you with lots of complex flavors, but it's such a nice, pleasurable little stick that you can enjoy any time of the day.
Yeah, I really do enjoy these H.Upmann Half Coronas. They're lovely. They're really easy to smoke. They don't kind of knock you off your socks and knock you, yeah.
And I think they're easily pairable with anything. And speaking of pairing cigars, as I mentioned before in the video, and I've also put a picture on the community tab, we have been working very hard on our very own cigar journal, which I'm very, very excited about. Now, this is a prototype. As you can see, it's stapled. The new ones are going to have a proper PUR bind. So they're very nice, high quality journals. And there's a few quirky pages in there which explains different types of burn. There's a check your ring gauge page in there as well, which you can line your cigar up with, and it will tell you what ring gauge it is. There's information in there about how to measure the ring gauge of a cigar, and
little quotes and funny like jokes and stuff, like cigar related jokes at the bottom of each page.
It's all opposite on the camera. So just down there, there's a different joke or quote cigar related. and there's a personal message in the front from us as well. So they will be available on the Cigars of London website very soon, which again, we're very excited for. This is the first edition. There's going to be a second edition, and I think moving forward there'll be a Cuban edition, a New World edition, and we'll just see how they sell. We'll see what you guys like about them, what you don't like about them, and see what we can change. Moving on to another segment of our video, we were trying to think of some ideas as to what we can discuss, and I personally wanted to talk about pet hates.
Okay.
Now, you know me, I like a good complaint, I like a good moan. I'm very opinionated. And for me, now we're talking about pet hates in the cigar industry. My personal pet hate within the cigar industry is when you go to a cigar lounge, you sit down, right? Whether you want to sit down and chill, sit down, listen to music, sit down and do some work, someone comes in, right? Someone comes in, they sit opposite you, they interrupt your moment, they interrupt your hour. Have you tried this cigar? Have you tried that cigar? Have you tried this cigar? Have you tried that cigar? What about this cigar and that cigar? Now, some cigars that these people talk about are older than we are. And it's like, you know damn well I have not tried most of these cigars that you're talking about, and it's almost like a bragging right. You're sitting there with your half Corona, yeah, it's like a 15 quid cigar. They get out their big old vintage XO, and you just think to yourself, I didn't need this today. Now, it's as bad as going to the gym and having someone come up to you and tell you how to do an exercise when you didn't ask how to do the exercise. That's how I feel about it. I take it quite personally that someone will come and interrupt my moment like that.
Almost like a lack of awareness about other people's like space, and like they just, you know, a lot of the time having a cigar, yes, it can be a very social thing, but it can also be a thing that someone wants to do to kind of take themselves out of like everyday life and just really chill out and like zone out and just by themselves.
I'll just elaborate. If someone come and sat opposite me and just wanted to talk about life,
that's
and
cool.
work,
their
dog, the wife, complain about the wife, talk about a holiday, talk about what they're up to this year, talk about how work's going, amazing. But don't sit there and ask me whether or not I've tried all of the cigars under the sun.
If the only conversation that you offer is, have you tried this? Next question, have you tried that? Next question, have you tried this? It's a little bit like... I know what you mean.
I don't know if I'm on my own with that. So again, if you guys are still here with us, let us know in the comment box below. Be very interested to know whether or not you're with me or against me on that. Do you have any pet hates?
I have one pet hate that I really dislike. Again, I might be on my own. Have you ever like read a cigar review? Right. And
many.
And like I obviously write them as well. So I enjoy reading. I enjoy that's how I like to consume my content. So I really enjoy like reading about, you know, latest news from cigars and cigar reviews and things like this. And then I come across these reviews that like I just you're just like stuffing that blog with like all sorts of food items, and I don't really understand what you're trying to do here. Things like I can taste omelette from a cigar.
So specific as well, like a roasted chestnut shell.
Yeah, roasted chestnut shell. Or I literally read the other day that someone tasted omelette from their cigar, and I just don't know if they are taking the Michael.
It does beg the question, especially when you look at these super complex flavour wheels. An omelette isn't in there. So it's like, at what stage of the cigar are you tasting omelette? What stage of a cigar are you tasting roasted walnut shell?
Cool. It's obviously a very it's a very personal thing, right? What you taste from a cigar, but
yeah, we're not judging. Really? I don't think. Are we judging?
Well, I when I read that, it really turns me off. Did you really taste omelette?
I'd like to just make a note for any beginner cigar smokers that might be with us today. Please bear in mind that when you have a cigar, when we sit here and we say we can taste earth, leather, there's a bit of a chocolate with a bit of coffee, it's all very subtle. Now, coffee as a flavour, if you were to have an espresso, is very sharp. It's a very powerful, distinct flavour. When you sit down and eat an omelette, it's very subtle anyway. So at what point are you tasting a subtle flavour already in a cigar where the flavours are even more subtle?
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
just-
sure. It's like almost like there's a line, and like when you step over it into like fantasy land, and you're just like, yeah, I can taste all sorts of stuff like omelette.
There's one
Just
that,
like I'm not sure, Han.
there's one that I vaguely, I'm trying to remember. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it was something like the shell of a roasted walnut or something.
I
And you're
don't-
just like,
I'm trying to think of more
how,
ones that I've
when,
read.
and why have you, and how do, it's just like bizarre. It really is bizarre.
Is
you need to
is
be
that a
like
real item?
3,000 years old to have experienced all of these particular flavours.
Yeah,
Now,
man.
don't get me wrong, don't get us wrong. Everyone experiences different things within a cigar.
Yeah, cool.
And sometimes it does help smoking with others because, you know, John, for example, might taste caramel and you go,
Oh yeah, sure.
oh my God,
me
actually,
too.
yeah, you're right, there is caramel there. But then there are other people who go, fuck me, there's omelette there. And it's like,
I'm just not sure.
yeah, I'm not sure about that. All right, going back to the cigars very quickly. How have you found it?
Really nice background cigar. My jaw was a little bit tight, and so was yours actually at the beginning, but that quickly opened up once we used the poker. But yeah, it's been nice. No complaints really.
Yeah, I've got
Enjoyable.
nothing really much to add to what you've just said. Nice background cigar. We mentioned earlier, it's not going to blow socks off, but it's
No.
certainly one of those that you can have every single day. Now, just before the end of the video, if you're still with us, we do really appreciate you watching all the way through. It does mean a lot. Now, for all of you guys watching us, let us know what you thought of this video. This is something new. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while, where we sit down, we have an extended chat, we smoke a cigar all the way through with you guys, and we just talk about a few different things, a few news topics that you guys might not have seen or heard about yet. And yeah, it was just a bit more fun, a little bit more relaxing. Don't get me wrong, the cigar reviews will still be uploaded as usual. This is just an additional video for the channel. So if you enjoyed it, please let us know in the comment box below. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.